Hello, welcome to the video lesson for the 13.4 notes. This is on page 17 in your notes packet. You should see a page that looks just like the one that's on your screen. So this is, given the volume, find the missing dimension. Usually the missing dimension is the height or the radius. The target for this is, and you can see it on your screen, I can, given the volume of a cylinder, cone, and sphere, find the missing dimension. And again, here are the three formulas that we have been using and exploring in this topic so far. Alright, so let's go ahead and get right to work on the first example that we have. Now this shape is obviously not like the others that we've been working with. The volume of a standard brick is 65 1/4 cubic inches. The width and height of the brick is 3 5/8. So that 3 is actually not where it belongs. It should be in front of the 5/8, so you can scribble that out. And 2 1/4 inches. What is the length of the brick? So this brick is a rectangular prism. So the volume for a rectangular prism is V equals length times width times height. I am going to be using bucks for this because this is a word problem. So what I have done is I've circled the volume that they give me. I've underlined the fact that we have the height and the width, and that's these two numbers here. And then the box around the question, what is the length of the brick? So that's what I'm trying to find. I'm going to call the length this side here. It really doesn't matter which side you call it, but given the numbers that they gave us, it will kind of make sense, especially when you see the answer. It is going to be the longest side. So then we have our height, which is 2 1/4 inches. The length we don't know, so that's a question mark. And then our width, which is 3 5/8 inches. Alright, so let's get right to work. I'm going to substitute the numbers in that I have. So the volume is 65 1/4 cubic inches. The length I don't know, so I'll leave it a variable. The width I do know, it's 3 5/8. And the height is 2 1/4. Now, I forgot to mention, you will need a calculator for all of these problems. I don't have a calculator for you to view on the screen while I'm doing this. So if you're having trouble understanding what I'm explaining, make sure you come and see me. So the first step is type in 65 1/4 in your calculator. If you don't know how to type in a fraction, then you better get in to see me. Now, to get rid of these two numbers, I'm going to do an inverse operation, which means I'm going to divide. Now, you could do this step. You could multiply these two things first and then divide by that product. Or you can just divide by each one, and that's what I'm going to do. So first I'll divide by 3 5/8, both sides. And when I do, so this will cancel out, and I end up with 18 equals the length times 2 1/4. Now I'll divide both sides by, oops, got a little mistake there. Now I'm going to divide by 2 1/4. And that's going to give you the length of the brick, which is 8. 8 what? 8 inches. So there's our answer. Now remember, we're going to solve with a smile, and we're going to make a sentence. So, this is the word problem. The length of the brick is 8 inches. Okay, nice job. Now let's start dealing with some problems a little more like what we've experienced so far in topic 13. over on the next page, page 18, you'll see at the top we have a can, which hopefully you recognize is a cylinder shape. So here in the problem you see the word can. You should know that that is a cylinder. Alright, so a company is designing a can for a new green iced tea. The volume of the can will be 29.5 inches cubed to the nearest hundredths of an inch. What is the radius of the can? Alright, this is going to be a little tricky because again, I don't have a calculator to put on the screen, so you're going to have to listen to my directions. The key is you need to keep the number that the calculator gives you, the answer, in the calculator. Don't hit clear. Follow my directions exactly as I explain it. So we're using bucks because we have a word problem. So my question is, what is the radius of the can? So I need to find the radius. So the radius of the can is from the center of the can to the edge. That's what I'm trying to find. So R equals question mark. It looks like they give me the height here, and they also give me the volume. I also am going to underline to the nearest of hundredths of an inch because that is important. So let's go ahead and solve this with a smile. Alright, so our volume formula for a cylinder is pi r squared times the height. Now substitute the values you have. 29.5 inches cubed is the volume, so that goes on this side of the equation. Equals pi always just stays pi. We don't know the radius, and we do know the height is 6. So what's the first step here? This is actually solving an equation, by the way. So we're going to divide both sides by 6. Now 29.5 doesn't divide nicely by 6. You end up with a number on your calculator. It's 4.91, and then you see a repeating 6. Now at the end you might see a 7. That is the calculator rounding. Leave this in your calculator. Do not hit clear. The next step is we have pi times the radius squared. I want you to divide both sides by pi. So this number should still be in your calculator. So you hit the divide button, and then you hit pi, and then you hit equals or enter. Okay, now we have the radius squared, which is 1.565, and there's more after that, so I'll put dot, dot, dot. We don't want the radius squared, we want just the radius. So the last step is to take the square root. Now, I did not tell you to hit clear, right? You need to leave this answer still in your calculator. Hit the square root button, which is a button that looks like this. And it is located right next to the divide sign on the calculators I have in my room, if that's like yours. If not, you may have to come and see me to find out. When you take the square root of the answer, you get R equals 1.251, and then it keeps on going. Now we need to round to the nearest hundredths of an inch, so the radius is going to be 1.25 inches. Not inches cubed, just inches, because we're just finding the radius. Okay, we're kind of working backwards. So, we need to answer this in a sentence. The radius of the can is about about 1.25 or 1 1/4 inches. All right, nicely done. We have one more problem. It's the cone problem right below this. Okay, the volume of a cone is 147 pi centimeters cubed. The height of the cone is 9 centimeters. What is the radius of the cone? All right, so this one's actually going to be nice and easy for us. We're going to use bucks. Oh, computer problem. Here we go, bucks. All right, so I'm going to circle some important information. I have my volume. I also have the height of the cone is this much. And then my question, what is the radius of the cone? Notice it doesn't say anything about rounding. It looks like we're going to have a nice answer here. So, to help me see this better, I'm going to draw a picture of a cone. So what you need is start with an oval. We're going to try to find the radius, so put a dot in the middle and then a dotted line going out. The radius we don't know. We do know the height, so put a dotted line going down a little ways. And then you can actually finish your cone, so draw the edges of it down to that point. I know mine's not perfect. The height we know is 9 centimeters. All right, so our formula, V equals 1/3 pi r squared times h. So I have my volume, so I put that in, 147 pi equals 1/3 times pi times the radius I still don't know, so I'll leave it a variable, times 9. Now let's go ahead and combine these two here, 1/3 and 9, and when you do, you get 3. So I have 147 pi equals 3 pi, 3 times pi, times r squared. So now let's go ahead and divide both sides by 3. So 147 divided by 3 is 49. The 3's cancel. So I have 49 pi equals pi r squared. Hopefully you're seeing what's coming next. We're going to divide both sides by pi. And the nice thing about this is pi's cancel out. So we're not going to have a scary answer. Oh, by the way, we're solving with a smile. So last step, we have 49 equals r squared. I don't want r squared. I want just the radius. So you need to take the square root of both sides. Now hopefully you know that the square root of 49 is 7. 7 times 7 is 49. So there's your answer. If you didn't know that, again, you can hit that square root button. So let's, this one, we'll answer with a sentence. The radius of the cone is 7 centimeters. All right, nicely done. If you have any questions about this video and the examples that we have done together in it, make sure you come and see me. Good luck, and we'll see you in math.